Now you know because of Barbara Streisand. But that's if they call you in over and over again. But another thing that's very important, you will not get that job that you're dreaming of by singing a song. So when you go into an audition, you can't be like, I'm going to sing Sorry with the Fringe on top and book this job. You've got to have something else. You've got to do it better than anybody else for one thing. But you've got to have another song, and that's why I brought this today. This, are you ready for this? Is my audition book. And that's full of songs because when I go into an audition, I want to have those songs. Now, it's a bit much. I'd say most people in New York have half of that, and a lot of people have 2/3 of that. But that's a lot. But I don't ever want to go on an audition again because I had this great audition for All Shook Up, 4 Window Broadway, 4 Window Goodspeed. And I went in and rocked out. I sang Ruby Baby from Smokey Joe's. And the guy was like on his phone, and then he was like putting up his phone. I got my thing. He was like, you know, and whatever. I had the look or the sound or whatever it was. And in the audition thing, it said, no, strictly no musical theater tunes, strictly no Elvis tunes. And so I brought that song. And I had other songs from Smokey Joe's that were Elvis songs, but they didn't want that because they didn't want people coming in and going, home, you know, they didn't want that. And so I didn't bring my musical theater book because, and the first thing he said, okay, great, can you sing me something totally different, just a pretty, like something from, you know, Oklahoma or Chess, or I just want to hear a musical theater song. And I was like, it said not to bring one. He said, no, anything in your book, just give me something from a Broadway show. And I was like, I didn't bring that, it said strictly no musical theater. He said, you're telling me you don't have anything? Okay, thank you. And it was like, I mean, literally, that was it. And I totally blew it because I wasn't ready. And so this hurts my back. I mean, to carry this around New York on my back, it hurts. But, you know, it's sort of like carrying my cross to bear, you know. So anyway, I'm always prepared. Y'all can feel free to look at it.
Now, are all those entire songs, are there cuts, or how do you go?
They're cuts because, you know, a lot of songs, like, you know, Taylor and I are doing this song tonight. That's like 10 pages, and you would never want to sing a 10-page song in an audition.
I didn't know if they would cut you off or something like that.
A lot of times, yeah, go ahead.
I don't think I've ever done a complete song. Okay, the Chicago audition I went to, it was just a new casting director that I've never auditioned for, Duncan Stewart. And I went in and sang For Mary Sunshine, because it's, like I said, it's really hot. And I did that, and I did it well, and he was like, great, can you sing something else? And I said, sure. And so he said, something just, you know, whatever you want. And so I did Take a Chance on Me from Little Women. And he said, go ahead and start singing, I'll stop you. And I sang the entire thing, he didn't stop me. And then he asked me to sing something else. And I sang What You Call a Dream, the baseball song from Diamonds. And he didn't stop me. And I could sing the whole thing. So that was, you know, I mean, that's the first time I've ever done a song, let alone 2 songs in a row. It's nice, like, but like, as far as like EPAs and chorus calls, there's so many people there, you're like, ah! Thank you so much, all right, you know, next person. And it's funny, one time we went to a Les Mis audition, and every Astoria boy, because I was living in Astoria at the time, something went wrong with the trains, and they were like, grr, and they stopped and were like, the trains will not be running for 30 minutes, and we're like, well, the audition starts in 15, so all these Astoria guys are like running to cabs, and we all get there too late, where our names have already been called on the chorus list, and if they skip your name, you go straight to the end of the line. And so we're like the last, like 20 guys in line. We get there like, you know, 1, and it's 5 o'clock, and we're still waiting. And it gets down, they come out, there's like 30 guys left, they're like, we have to, you know, the building's gonna close at about 5:15, so we're gonna go, just give us your best 4 bars. And we're like, huh. And so I'm like, okay.
Let the world be done. Thank you.
Exactly. So I went in and sang, because I was like, I'll sing over there. And I went in and like got my note, and I was like, for the scars on my back. And they were like, good 4 bars. I'm like, thank you.
That's just ridiculous. And it's like, why even? Another thing is typing out, and this is really frustrating, but it's also useful. They call it being typed out in audition. I got typed in once for, they needed a bass for Wonderful Town, Broadway revival that Donna Murphy started a few years ago. And I went, and it was, you know, a bunch of Broadway guys, taller, older than me, you know. But they wanted a low voice, and so we went in, and they were like, everybody write your lowest note on your resume before you hand it in. And so, you know, I wrote D flat, sometimes a C. And so they were like, and they went through our headshots and looked at the note, and they were like, okay, Jared, stay. Okay, Jonathan, stay. Everybody else, thank you. You know, so they're probably like 12 of us there. And you know, the guy that got it, this really tall, really good-looking black guy got it, and he was so amazing in the show. He was exactly what they wanted. You know, he looked like this tall, you know, authoritative policeman, you know, and he totally looked the part. I totally didn't look the part. But it was amazing because he spoke and was like, I have a low C, you know, it was like, wow. But, you know, it's sort of, I was like, wow, this is, you know, that was getting typed out by that. You get typed out by look, you know, like Legally Blonde. Sometimes I just pick the blonde girls. It's like, well, that's easy. You're really creative there, you know.
I found it, I mean, at all the auditions I've been to, I've been to one type, but there's so many more women, sorry women, they type women like crazy at, you know, auditions.
If you want to look at this, I was just looking, I mean, these are old songs in the front, but just flip through and you'll see the length of some of these songs. But most of them are like 4 pages, most, you know, like, so they can go the first page, the second page, and then they turn the page once, and then it's the end of the song, right? Because if they're going, and and you know, they know, usually in the first 10 seconds, casting people say they know by your look, and the first thing that comes out of your mouth if they like you or not. And so that's a lot of times with my accent, I have to be really careful because they'll go, oh, this guy's this other guy, you know, whether that's good or bad. Yeah.
You know, like in school auditions and like regional theater auditions and stuff like that, you know, like we're constantly told like no-nos of things to go audition with because of like accompaniment.
Right.
Have you ever like?
Oh, you know, the rules are made to be broken, you know, a lot of the time. I wrote Stephen Sondheim a letter once because like all the major jobs I got were from his songs. And people are like, never sing Sondheim. But you know, sometimes his songs are so weird or so like I would sing the Wolf song from Into the Woods, like, you know, good day, I'm playing, and it's awful to play on the piano, you know. I'm looking at that flash, you know, it's like, it's not a compliment, it's like this weird, but that got me my first, you know, regional job because, and I lucked out because that director just directed Into the Woods and was like, I wish, you know, you would have been the Wolf. And I got West Side Story through that, which is really odd, you know, it's not really like West Side Story. But rules are made to be broken. But, you know, usually they're right. I mean, but if you're going to sing a Sondheim song, you know, I've gone in to sing, I'll do Everybody Says Don't or something, which is, you know, pulsing in a lot of words. And, you know, I've totally been in front of, there's this new musical, Ace, coming to Broadway. And 3 years ago, I auditioned for Stafford Arima, who directed Altar Boys. And I'm singing Everybody Says Don't, and just, you know, in the middle of it, I wish I knew the exact, you know, well, I say try, I say, I'll have to cry, lose your, you know, and he was like, what? And I was totally like, what's the word? And I've sung the song millions of times, but everybody screws up, you know? And that was, you know, and you mess up, and that's why you don't sing Sondheim, because they're really, or, you know, Modern Major General, there's certain songs that are really risky to sing in an audition.
If you can do a song better than, I mean, I say better than anyone, you don't know that, but if you can do a song really well, I mean, really well.
Do you have any instances, like, do you have something specific, like, that a rule that you don't like, or?
Well, like with, you know, like the songs for New World Edition, like lots of us use, like Jason Robert Brown.
Right.
And like the accompaniment is difficult. And like we all know, JP can clearly play it. But like, have you ever been in a situation where you've been like, I want to sing something that's really difficult to play?
All the time. Like, I mean, you know, like Moving Too Fast from the last 5 years.
Easy Man.
Moving Too Fast, or is it Chicks Agaves? No, everyone tells you that the minute you get married, every other woman in the world suddenly finds you attractive. Well, that's not true. That's a great acting song. And I come just to look at it and go, oh, and I was like, all I need is that left. Boo-dum, boo-dum, boo-dum. Like, that's what I need. And I'll give them, don't worry about the doodle, 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 doodle. And I'll tell them that in an audition. And, you know, sometimes they'll roll their eyes or whatever, but, you know, usually they won't. An accompanist in New York, a lot of times, is really great.
Right.
But, and they know Parade, Songs from New World in the last 5 years, so what do you have to worry? You know?
If you put something in front of them, you know, they've probably seen it. And I've gotten to the point where I've started to see a couple of them over and over, and I'll put it in there like, oh, we did that last week. And I'm like, yeah, we did.
Yeah, if you sing,
you know,
yeah, if you're going to sing I'm Still Hurting or some song from the last 5 years, if they're an accompanist that's worth their own, you know, weight in gold, they've played that song 40 times before.
How important is your interaction with the accompanist?